Hello children. See, we have started with the lessons from honeycomb, and now we'll be moving to the next lesson, that is the invention of Vita womb. You can see on the screen the new lesson it is, and it is very interesting lesson children. See the invention of Vita womb. Now what is Vita womb? Now this Vita womb, the word itself, if you see there, womb, Wonka white, you might have seen one word is there, Wonka white. See, that is one type of medicine. It is one type of medicine which makes the older people young, and that medicine, this Vita womb, he is going to invent. So this lesson is based on that, and this is a really one wonderful story. It is like a story. See, no people can become again young. Okay, no, there is not such medicine that any person can become young again. So just it's an imaginary, and we will be coming to know what is the conclusion of this story. Now this story is written by Roald Dahl. He is from this story is taken from Charlie and the Great Glass Elevator. Okay, this lesson or this story is taken from the one book, we can say, Charlie and the Great Glass Elevator, and this story is written by Roald Dahl. So we'll start with the new lesson now. This is the invention of Vita womb. So see, who are the oldest people you know? You know children, many people you might be coming through in your home, in your house also. You can see your grandparents are there. They are old, and sometimes we meet any other older people also. Those who come in our contact sometimes in a day. So who are the oldest people you know? Now you might be knowing your grandparents are there. Some auntie or uncle, they might be staying near your house, they might be your neighbor, or from your relatives also we can say. Now what are the oldest things you have? And children, you know, not only person, even the things also, they get older day by day, and some things are there which are older in your house also. You might be knowing some things like you may be having cupboard which is very old, that your grandparents might have given as a gift to your parents, or we can say you might be having television, older television or radio, fan. Many things are there which is there in your house at present. You can, if you see, if you go through your house, if you just have a look at your house, you can come to know what all old things are there in your house. Then in your city also, if you just travel, if you take a round in your city, you will find some old things are there, like old statues are there, old parks are there, old rivers are there, many old things you can find out then in your town or in the village. Then how old are they? And you will be very eager. Children, you know, one thing is there, we like to visit historical places, because those are very old, and it's not such a thing that you don't like to visit the old places. You like it very much. Even I like it. Many times we visit to Taj Mahal. It is very older. Then we go to Qutub Minar, or we can say Bibi Ka Maqbara, Aurangabad. Many places you go and visit where you can find old statues, old monuments are there, and you really enjoy watching them. Or do you say that it's old, now we don't want to have a look at that? Or you are not at all interested in going to the historical places? Nobody is there in the world, they do not like to visit the historical places. Even I like, and I know children, even you might be liking. You might be eager to know all the old things what were there before your birth. So here is the same thing we are going to see now. Then have you ever wished that you were older? Now children, you all are very small, but after few days you will be getting older, and you know that it is a fact, it is a universal truth, we can say. Though after the birth you grow, day by day you will be growing older, and you know that some or the other day you are going to become old. Have you wished that you could grow up in a hurry? Children, nobody likes that you should be very old in a means very soon you should be old. Nobody likes that. Though there are many old people, but they don't pretend, they pretend as if they are very young only, because nobody likes that anybody should tell you as old, or they should make fun of you as old. So everyone likes to be young till they are there in the world. Nobody likes to say anybody as that you all are old. So here we will see the next new lesson, that is the invention of Vitamong. See now, Mr. Willy, start with the lesson. Mr. Willy Wonka begins by inventing Wonka White. Now here one person is there, his name is Willy Wonka, and what he is going to do? He is going to invent Wonka White. Means he is going to invent one medicine, okay, and that medicine is called as Wonka White, which makes people younger. After taking this medicine or after having this medicine, the person will become younger. This Wonka, he says, Mr. Willy Wonka, he says that after some days you will get younger if you have this medicine. But Wonka White is too strong. But this medicine is really it's very strong to take. So some people disappear. What happens, children, after taking this medicine? It's that some people they just disappear. It says such a strong medicine it is, because their age becomes minus. See, children, if you celebrate, suppose today is my birthday, now my age will be minus. Suppose I don't know how many years I am going to be alive, but suppose if I will be till 60 years, so my age will go on minusing. Minusing means what? I am going to grow 1 year older, and here my life length will be is going to be minus from my life. Then one person actually becomes minus 87. Children, have you ever heard that plus your age will be plus or minus? Plus means what? You will be getting older, and minus means what? You will be getting back again younger. Okay. So here the thing is this only, that some people they disappear after taking this medicine, and their age becomes minus. Their age becomes minus, it seems. One person actually becomes minus 87. He has tried on one person and he became of minus 87, which means he is got to wait 87 years before he can come back. What is given here? He is got to wait 87 years before he come back. Means he has to wait 87 years. He waited for 87 years to come back again. Okay, means that is called as minus. Mr. Willy Wonka must invent a new thing. Now he is saying that I want to invent one new thing. What it is, see. Mr. Wonka said, so once again I rolled up my sleeves and set to work. Somebody told him, say Mr. Wonka, you have to invent some new thing, because of this minus, what is happening? We have to wait for many years. So you are going to invent one such a medicine that that will be beneficial for any other person. So now Mr. Wonka, he made up his mind, and what he said? So once again I rolled up my sleeves. Children, if you want to do any work, you just roll up your sleeves and you start your work. Once again I squeezed my brain, and whatever things were there in his brain, he washed it off everything, and he started with the new things now. Searching for the new recipe. Now something started in his mind, that I have to do some new recipe. New recipe means not any cooking and all that. Now something new plan I have to, or new thing I have to invent for this thing. I had to create age. He is going to create age. Okay. Then to make people old, older and oldest. What is saying? I want to make age where I am going to make people old, more older and more oldest. Okay. And then he started laughing. For now the ideas were beginning to come. Now the new ideas started coming into his mind. What is the oldest living thing in the world? He started thinking that what is the oldest thing in the world? What lives longer than anything else? Now he is going on thinking that what is such a thing that lives for a long time. Then next page will go. A tree, Charlie said. Now there was one boy, he said, sir, a tree. He said, sir, a tree is there which stays for a longer time, and it is really very, very old. He might have heard from somebody else and he gave the answer. Right, you are Charlie. But what kind of a tree? Not the Douglas fir. he is saying, yes Charlie, you are right, whatever thing you are saying, that the tree the tree is very oldest thing, but it's right, he is saying, but what kind of tree? Not the Douglas fir. Now a tree with needle like leaves and cones, you know the children, you know this tree children, it is very delicate. He is saying not the Douglas fir. The Douglas fir is the name of one tree. He is saying, Charlie, you are right, the tree is the oldest thing, but not the Douglas fir. Not the oak tree also, not the oak tree. See here also you can see in the picture a family of large trees with a hardwood, and we find these trees in the Kashmir. We find these trees, all these oak trees we find in Kashmir, and he is saying this Vita Wonka, he is saying that not the Douglas fir, not the oak tree, not the cedar. No, my boy, these all trees are not the oldest trees. It is a tree called the bristlecone pine. Bristlecone pine that grows upon the slopes of Wheeler Peak in Nevada, USA. He came to know that the pine tree is very oldest tree. Pine tree, this tree is very oldest tree, and you can find this tree in Nevada, that is in America. You can find bristlecones on Wheeler Peak today that are over 4,000 years old. They are 4,000 years old. Nor oak tree, nor cedar tree, nor fir tree, they are the oldest tree, but the bristlecone pine, these trees are very oldest trees, and they are in where they are in USA. They are in Wheeler Peak in Nevada, that is in USA, and that the name of the tree is what? The bristlecone pines. Then, and how many years old they are all are? They are 4,000 years older. This is fact, and really it is fact. He is telling to Charlie. Ask any dendrochronologist who like and look that word up in the dictionary when you get home, will you please? Now, who is dendrochronologist? Dendrochronologist is a person who knows more about the trees, about the life of trees. That person is called as dendrochronologist, and he is telling that if you just go to this person, you will come to know about the bristlecone pines trees. Then so that started me off. Now he started his work. I jumped into the great glass elevator and rushed all over the world collecting special items from the oldest living things. Now what this Vita Wonka he did, you know children, he went to the great glass elevator and he rushed off he found out all the oldest things. What oldest things did he find? See, a pinch of sap from a 4,000-year-old bristlecone pine. Sap means what? Sapling, small tree. He found out, and that was a 4,000-year-old. Then the toenail clippings from a 168-year-old Russian farmer called Petrovich Gregorovich. So again what he found out? The toenail clippings. He found out the toenail clippings from one 168-year-old farmer. Farmer is also old, and that things are also old. Then again what did he find? An egg laid by a 200-year-old tortoise belonging to the king of Tonga. And also again the other thing, what did he find? He find an egg which was laid by 200-years-old tortoise. See, tortoise also old, means so many oldest things he is just going on finding. Then the tail of a 51-year-old horse in Arabia. And in Arabia what did he find? He found a tail of one horse. That horse is of 51-year-old, and he found it in Arabia. Then the whiskers of a 36-year-old cat called crumpets. Then whiskers, mustaches of the cat, that also he found, and that cat was of 36 years old. You know children, cat they don't survive for so long years, but he found that the whiskers of a 36-year-old cat, and that is called as crumpets. Then an old flea means what? Fly. An old flea which had lived on trumpets for 36 years. A flea is like a small insect which sits on the skin of any animal, okay, and they suck the blood. Then this flea or this fly is also of 36 years. It has survived for 36 years. Then the tail of a 207-year-old giant rat from Tibet. The tail of a 207-year-old giant rat. Rat is so small creature, but here what they have told, the tail of a 207-year-old rat. Rat has survived for 207 years old, and the tail is also very old, and this rat is from Tibet. Then the black teeth of a 97-year-old grimalkin living in a cave or mount propagate petal. So this black teeth, one 97-year-old, see they have given 97-year-old grimalkin living. This grimalkin is like, we can say it is an animal which is living in a cave, and he could find the black teeth of that animal. Then the knuckle bones of a 700-year-old catalu from Peru. So he found knuckle bones. Knuckle bones means, children, the knuckle bones are on your hand, on your behind the palm. Here you can see. So he found the knuckle bones of a 700 years old catalu from Peru. So many oldest things this Vita Wong he has found. Now next we will be moving next page. Next part we see, all over the world, Charlie, Mr. Wonka went on. I tracked on very old and ancient animals and took an important little bit of something from each of them. What this Vita Wong has done, children, he went all over the world and he is telling these things to the Charlie now. He is telling that I went all over the world and I could find very old and ancient animals, and whatever important things are there, I have found from those oldest creatures. Then a hair or an eyebrow, or sometimes it was no more than an ounce or two of the jam scrapped from between its toes while it was sleeping. See, so minute things he has collected. What he has collected? A hair or an eyebrow hair. See, it is very delicate, and how he can, I don't know how he might have found that, but he found that a hair or of an eyebrow, or sometimes he had found the jam. We can say jam means what? The dirt which is collected in between the your nails, you see, children, between your toes. That dirt also he has collected when the creatures they were sleeping. If he would have gone there when they were just awake, they might have killed him. What is saying, when the animals were sleeping, that time I have collected that hair of an eyebrow, hair, or I have collected the jam from the toes. I tracked down the whistle pig. What is this? I tracked down the whistle pig. Then see which and to all which animals he went to collect this thing. He went to the whistle pig, then the bobolink, the shrike, the polyfrog, the giant curlicue, the stinging slug, and the venomous squircle who can spit poison right into your eye from 50 yards away. So all these animals he visited and he collected their hair, he collected the jam from their toes, and many small minute things he has collected which are very old. So he wanted to tell that, he means he is very much eager in collecting all the old things. So he is telling that I have collected all these things from the these different animals like bobolink, then whistle pig, shrike, the polyfrog, the giant curlicue, the stinging slug, and the venomous squircle. This venomous squircle, this squircle means snake. This snake, if he spits the poison, right, it goes right to your eye, and that too if it is, though it is very far away. But there is no time to tell you about them all now. He is telling, I am not having, Charlie my dear, I am not having a lot of time to tell all these things to you, but in a short I have told you that these many things I have collected from all these animals, and they are very old. Charlie, let me just say quickly that in the end, I want to tell you something in the end. He is telling now. What is saying? After lots of boiling and bubbling and mixing and testing, what he did? In my inventing room, what he did? He collected all these old things, and what he did? He is saying after collecting all these things, okay, what I did? I boiled those things, I bubbled those things, I mixed, I tested those things, and what these all things he did in his inventing room. And then what happened? I produced one tiny cup full of oily black liquid. After collecting all these old things, what I did? I boiled it, then I tested it, then again what I did? I mixed it everything and I bubbled it, and all these things he did in his inventing room. You know, you do such things in the laboratory. So he is saying that all these things I collected and I produced one tiny cup full of oily black liquid. He invented one oily black liquid, and he gave 4 drops of it to a brave 20-year-old Oompa Loompa. One boy is there, his name is Oompa Loompa, and he gave only 4 drops to that 20 years old boy. What had happened? See now, wanted to see what happened. Now you know children, after you invent something, you try to test it on somebody else, and same thing this Vita Wong, he also wanted to do. So what he did? He called that Oompa Loompa, he is of 20 years old, and he told, my child, you take this 4 drops of water, let me see what result I will be getting from it. What had happened? Charlie asked him. Charlie is very eager. What has happened? Now he was very eager to ask, and he went and asked to this Vita Wong, what had happened then next? It was fantastic, cried Mr. Wonka. He said, it was very fantastic result, my dear Charlie. Do you know what had happened? The moment he swallowed it, he began wrinkling and shriveling up all over, and his head started dropping off. What happened? See, he wanted to invent one such medicine that the older person will become younger, but he has done vice versa. He has done all opposite things only. He said, when I gave that medicine to that Oompa Loompa, I just wanted to try on him, and I gave him. After swallowing that medicine, what happened? That result was very fantastic, he said. And this Charlie is very eager to know what had happened, now what he will tell. He thought now this 20-year boy might have become 1-year-old boy, but nothing. My dear children, nothing had happened. This thing was something, other thing only what had happened. And what was that? He began wrinkling. He began shivering like an old person, and shriveling up all over. He started shivering, and what happened after that? His hair started falling down. You know children, when the person he becomes old, after some days their hair started shedding. Okay, and you know what, you might have experienced at your home also. So his hair started dropping off and his teeth started falling. Older people, their teeth falls down, and even their hair also they drops down. So this thing had happened. He was of 20 years old. He was not an old person. He was 20 years old as Oompa Loompa. He was 20 years old. But what happened? After swallowing those 4 drops of that medicine, his hair started dropping, his teeth started falling down, and next what happened? And before I knew it, he had suddenly become an old fellow of 75. My God, see, he was of 20 years old, and after having that medicine, he became a person of 75. Means how many? 55 years older. He just he just had only 4 drops of medicine, and what he did? He had 4 drops of medicine, and he stepped to the 75th year. See, means such a big step he has taken forward. Not of only 1 or 2 years, directly 75, means 55 years old. The difference was there, and he became old over there. And thus my dear Charlie, was Vita Wonka invented. In this way, he said this Vita Wonka was invented. He wanted to do something else, and here something else only happened. So children, from this story, we can learn that, children, some are the facts that never change. But if you want to try that thing, sometimes what we do, we like to try those things. So which is not possible, which things are not possible, or which thing is not virtual, you can say, which is never going to change, you should not try for those things. You can change your mind, the age doesn't matter here. If you grow old, but your thinking should be, it should develop, or it should be matured. So there is no need to change your old, or there is no need to change your any other thing. You have to change your behavior. If you change your behavior, your what we can say, the life of the lifestyle of your living, everything, if you change, you will be really successful, and you will be very happy person in the world. So you don't try to do any other such things, like how this Vita Wonka, he tried to do something else and something else had happened, but the poor boy, this Oompa Loompa, he had suffered for that. So if you try to do these things, you are not going to suffer, but the other people, they are going to suffer for that. So don't try to do these such things which will be harmful, or which is not beneficial for others. You try to do such things which is really good for others and even for you. So this was all about the story of Vita Wonka, and really children, it is very means we can take we can take many morals. Children, the story is not to be just listen, you are not supposed to only listen to the story or enjoy. Yes, you can enjoy the story, you can listen to the story, you can read the story, you can involve in that story, but from every part of a story, you have to take some moral out of that. So that story will be really useful for your life, and this story is based on that only. He tried to do something else. He thought that if I'll invent a medicine, what will happen? The older people, they will be younger. But here he did something, and that poor boy, that Oompa Loompa, he has to suffer for that. And what had happened? He became old. He became old of 75 years. See children, he was just of 20 years old. Then he might have planned many things in his life, that after 22 I will start working, I will earn the money, many things I will do. He might have planned for his life, but because of such a small mistake of this Vita Wonka, what had happened? He became an old person, and after becoming an old person, what happens? Their hair starts falling, their teeth start falling, they don't have energy, they don't have that much strength for them, and all these things we can find in the old person. So poor thing, he has to suffer for this. So the thing is that I want to tell you, the thing is that don't try such things which are not possible, never in life. Whatever things are possible by your hand, you try to do those things, and the main thing is what you try to do such things that is really very useful for the other person, and even you will enjoy it, and even that will be beneficial for you also. So this was all about the story, that is the invention of Vita Wonka. I hope children, who might have enjoyed this story, you might have liked this story, and you might have understood the story, that it is what it is about. And children, after this you have to read the story, you try to understand the story, and later on you will be getting the notes for all this story. Thank you.